The Pharisees came forward and began to argue with Jesus, seeking from him a sign from heaven to test him. He sighed from the depths of his spirit and said, "Why does this generation seek a sign? Amen, I say to you, no sign will be given to this generation." Then he left them, got into the boat, and went off to the other shore. Sometimes we get in trouble looking for signs. We want God to just presto changeo fix things. We want a magic show. That's what they wanted today. They wanted Jesus to put on a show for them to prove that he was God. They still wouldn't have believed him. They would have clapped at the show and critiqued it and then gone off and not believed him. Sometimes I encounter people and you can tell from the conversation, that they're expecting their answers to their whatever difficulty is in life to just like cascade down from heaven and appear in their hands. Now, God sometimes does things that are just stunningly out of expectation, and it really does seem like that. It is possible that if you need $5,000 and you don't know where it's going to come from, someone's going to mail you a check for $5,000. Rare, but it does happen. Sidebar: that kind of thing, if you're giving your 10% as we are asked to do, then the money you need will actually show up. That kind of thing does happen in that context. Actually, please believe that. But in general, our solutions to our problems don't just fall out of the sky. Especially if we are demanding them. If we're saying, "God, I'm not going to believe if you don't give me this sign. If you don't put on a show for me, I'm not going to believe." That's not how it works. But sometimes God does do funny little things that you weren't expecting, and after they happen, you go, "Okay, that was something there." So today, it was a great day. Lots of awesome things that I get to be part of as a priest. Things that are, the amount of them always surprises me. 2 different young couples talked to me today about setting their wedding date. That's exciting. I had a great spiritual conversation with a friend of mine. Later in the evening, a different friend said, "Hey, can we have dinner?" This other guy, he has a bunch of Catholic questions. I'm not sure how to answer them. Father, can you give him help? That's a great conversation. That's a lot of fun. But then tonight, coming back into Weatherford, there's somebody here that I knew they were going to be leaving town soon, and I didn't really know I was going to line up with them. I didn't know what was happening there. And I come back into town, and I happen to take a road that I wouldn't normally take. I thought, you know what, instead of going right to the rectory, I'm going to go by campus and see if anyone's over there. So I went down the main road of town, and there's this guy walking, and I just kind of moved over for a second, and as I passed him, I was like, wait, I know that guy. And I waved out the window to him, and then I texted him and said, "Hey, you need a ride?" Because it's kind of cold outside. And he calls me back, and yeah, he did. But then I come to find out he's going to get things because he's leaving the country tomorrow, and I'm never going to see him again. And I was suddenly so relieved that I took this other road I wouldn't have normally taken and went right by this guy who I was really hoping to have a conversation with. And without telling you anything that we talked about, because that's his business, not yours, it was exactly what needed to happen. It was the conversation that we needed to have before he left the country tomorrow. And the whole time I'm just laughing to myself, listening of course and praying with him, but laughing interiorly in a joyful way of, wow, if I would have had a different amount of time, if that guy then would have had less questions, if I would have driven a different speed to get back to Weatherford, if I would have just gone directly like normal, if I wouldn't have said, "Hey, I'm going to go over there first instead," all these things, I wouldn't have met this guy. And he would have been off out of the country tomorrow, and there would have been an opportunity greatly lost. Now, of course, could God provide that some other way? Maybe when he gets back to where he's going, he'll meet what he needs. He could have met what he was needed there. I don't know. But it really, really seemed like this was a thing lined up by the Lord, by our guardian angels drew us together, if you want to call it like that. And to me, that is a sign. Not one I was asking for. I wasn't looking for this at all. But the Lord gave this here and said, yes, I'm doing things. You may not see the full picture of it. You didn't expect this at all. You didn't even ask for it. But here's a sign that is going to do good things. I am so grateful for the conversation that I had with this guy before he leaves tomorrow. Prayed with him in certain ways, gave him a blessing. and it was very much a relief to him, but also as a pastor, it was a relief to me to have this gift of presence with him lined up in a way that I never could have expected. So I think we should be careful. Well, we should be courageous to ask God for what we actually need and expect it in a joyful, abundant, spiritual way. But that doesn't mean treating God like a magician, just having him, magically presto changeo fix our problems. It's not almost ever like that. But if we are faithful, if we are trusting, he will actually very often deliver into our lives small little signs, little still small voices that say, yes, I'm with you, I'm working, good things are happening, just trust me. Those are the kinds of signs that will be given to us if we are a faithful generation.